But it was only the beginning, because another component was about to be fitted into this growing new system of power. In China, as Mao approached death, Jiang Qing was still determined to take his place as the leader. But there was one person who was equally determined to stop her. He was called Deng Xiaoping. Deng was one of the original revolutionaries, and he had been sidelined during the Cultural Revolution. But now, Deng believed that if Jiang Qing was allowed to take power, it would be a disaster for China, and the country could splinter into civil war. An anonymous poem appeared on a wall in Tiananmen Square. It was obviously addressed to Jiang Qing. Lady X, it said, "You are insane. To be empress is your ambition. Instead, take this mirror and see what you are really like. You deceive your superiors and you delude your subordinates. Yet for types like you, good times won't last."
"高山在痛哭，大海泪涛涌，惊天动地的噩耗啊，震撼全球。"
Then Mao died. Jiang Qing came on her own, dressed in black. She was already preparing to take power with 3 others of the leadership. They were called the Gang of Four. But another group, backed by Deng Xiaoping, set out to destroy them. Wall posters went up all across China, attacking the Gang of Four, claiming that as well as being corrupt, they were really working for the CIA to undermine China.
When Jiang Qing came to Ta Chai, there seemed to be no end to her whims. Now she wanted her room sprayed with perfume. Then she wanted more carpets on the floor. And for curtains, she wanted to have special ones of a particular dark color. Jiang Qing and company demanded complete quietude. No one should laugh or talk loudly. Planes at a nearby airport had to stop their sorties. People had to be sent uphill to beat the woods to drive the birds away.
And 4 weeks after Mao's death, army units came in the middle of the night and arrested Jiang Qing. She was put in an underground cell next to the refrigeration unit that was holding Mao's body. She later tried to commit suicide by hitting her head against the wall. So the soldiers covered the walls with rubber. Within 18 months, Deng Xiaoping defeated all other rivals, and he took power in China. The first thing he did was wipe the past, everywhere. In Shanghai, the giant sign that said, "Long live the victory of Chairman Mao's Revolutionary Road," was taken down. While outside the Department of Public Tranquility in Beijing, which in reality was the headquarters of the secret police, the thoughts of Chairman Mao were also removed. Deng then set out to create a new kind of revolution. He was going to bring capitalism into China, but the state would control and manage the whole system. His aim was simple. Money would replace the old revolutionary dreams. It was less dangerous. But he was going to use it to restore China's power. Deng Xiaoping knew that in the 19th century, the British had used drugs to control the Chinese. They had brought opium to China. It led to what the Chinese called the Century of Humiliation. Now, Deng was determined to reverse that. to reassert China's power. You couldn't use drugs because the Americans already had their own drugs. Instead, he was going to use the mass mobilization of the Chinese people to invent another force that would be the equivalent of opium. A kind of mass consumerism never seen before in the world, driven by goods so cheap that everyone in the West would want them. Whole cities were going to be built in China that made just one kind of product. They would be shipped in vast quantities to the West.
I know that it is freezing, but I think we have to walk. Keep waving at the taxis, they keep turning their lights off. But Julie knows a party at some actor's West Side loft. Supplies are endless in the evening, by the morning they'll be gone. I got a flask inside my pocket, we can share it on the train. And if you promise to stay conscious, I will try and do the same. We might die from medication, but we sure killed all the pain. But what was normal in the evening, by the morning seems insane. And I'm not sure what the trouble was that started all of this. The reasons all have run away, but the feeling never did. It's not something I would recommend, but it is one way to live. 'Cause what is simple in the moonlight, by the morning never is.
At the same time as large numbers of factories began to close across America, a new drug was created. It was made by a company that had been founded by Arthur Sackler. In the 1970s, Sackler had marketed the drug Valium to deal with the feelings of anxiety and loneliness in the suburbs. He had died in the 1980s, but in the mid-90s, his company released a new drug called OxyContin. It was a synthetic form of opium, and it was sold as a painkiller. But then, workers who were being laid off as the factories closed found that they got more benefits if they were disabled. So they went to their doctors and said they were injured. And the doctors gave them OxyContin. They got their benefits, but they also discovered that OxyContin made them feel safe, in a bubble, protected from the anxieties and fears of the new post-industrial world.